for watching today. I'm Powter, a weight loss and fitness expert, and I'm super excited about the show. Why? Because portion distortion is one of the biggest things holding women back from reaching their health and weight loss goals. What's interesting is in the last few decades, our plate sizes and bowl sizes have increased substantially. It's almost averaging about an inch increase per decade. When we have bigger plate sizes and bowl sizes, we put more food in it. And it's problematic because when they're bigger, it doesn't look like it's that much more. And this is actually one of the #1 things I get asked. Jen, I don't understand why I can't lose weight because it doesn't seem like I eat that much. So what I wanted to do today was show you what actual portions look like. And because we don't tend to think in terms of grams or ounces, I took a ½ cup measuring cup to illustrate what ½ cup of pasta looks like on a small plate and a big plate, and what ½ cup of brown rice looks like in a small bowl and a big bowl. As you can see, when you take the big bowl and put ½ cup of rice in, it simply doesn't look like very much. And I know if this was me, I would automatically choose to dish up a little bit more, simply because my perspective would be, that's not very much food. Now we've got 1 cup of rice and 1 cup of pasta, but for some of us, that still may not look like very much. Okay, so what we have now is 2 cups of wild rice and 2 cups of pasta. And the plate and the bowl, they look full, right? And this really is pretty typical of what North Americans are doing in order to have the perspective of like they're eating enough. Moral of the story, if you can take or use a smaller size bowl or plate, or be very conscious of how much you're putting on there, you'll move past that weight loss plateau and actually see weight loss happen. Okay, so another thing about carbohydrates is sometimes they come packaged for us, or they're in the form of one. Take for instance a bagel. So this bagel came in a package of 6, and it's very normal for us to think, well fine, I can have just 1. Except the problem is that just like our other things have increased in size over the last few decades, so has the portion of our food and the serving size of it. So now if you were to eat that 1 bagel, that's just like eating 3 pieces of bread, which you probably wouldn't do. So once again, always think about how you can portion things out for yourself so that what you're eating makes sense for your body. So one of the other things that we have a hard time estimating our portion size of is our basic fats. If you can believe it, this is actually all the same amount of cheese, 1 ounce, 1 ounce, 1 ounce. And what's tricky about that is when we buy our cheese, it's often in these nice big blocks, and the serving size recommendation is a 3 by 3 centimeter cube, like this. I don't know about you, but I don't cut my cheese that way. I actually tend to cut it in either slices or I grate it. If I was to actually cut it into a 3 centimeter cube, I'd probably look at that and think that that was enough. But when I'm slicing cheese, 1 slice of cheese just doesn't seem like that much. So it's not uncommon for me to cut possibly 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 slices, thereby taking in almost 75% more cheese than I actually need. Other fats can creep into our diet besides just cheese. I know in my life, I like both butter and peanut butter. I eat both, I use both, I like both. The thing is that on this plate, I've got a tablespoon and a tablespoon. Now, every day I'm not taking measuring spoons and measuring this stuff out. I'm taking a knife, dipping it into the peanut butter and spreading it on whatever I'm using it with. But what can happen is our portion distortion can manifest here too. You think you're just taking a teaspoon or 2, but actually over the course of the day, those teaspoons add up to a few tablespoons. And our bodies are smart. If more comes in than we're able to burn, guess what? We stay stuck at that weight plateau, or we can actually even gain weight. So it's not that these foods are bad. The whole idea is to be conscious about how much we're consuming and to be aware that anytime that there's those little bit extras, they matter. Thanks so much for watching, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe now because I'll be back next week with more weight loss, health, nutrition, and fitness tips. I'll see you next week.